Hare Krishna. Today I would like to discuss the topic of logic. Logic, as we generally know, is the step by step thinking by which we come to a certain conclusion, certain achievement. So we apply logic on a daily basis very extensively. There you have the example of the car mechanic who listens to the noise of an engine of a car and concludes probably this part of the engine uh, has broken down. So he goes under the hood, checks out the part. In this case, indeed, that part had broken down. So he replaces the part. Again, the engine runs very smoothly and the noise has gone. This is one of many, many practical applications of logic you can give. So whether you're a dentist, you're a maidservant, a military person, a software writer, a manager, a shopkeeper, you have to apply logic. Otherwise, what can you do? And when you act highly illogically, specifically in a function of certain importance, that has repercussions. So there you have the story of the judge who had to pass sentence. The judge who had just had an ayahuasca party the day before had to pass sentence, and still he was a little bit under the influence of the ayahuasca. So the suspect had been found guilty, and so the sentence for him, according to the judge, was 5 years death penalty. This is what he stated until in the meantime what had become a convict. So the convict listened to the judge and he said, "Well, judge, 5 years death penalty, that's a weird situation. I know we're very, very advanced these days in terms of engineering. There's a lot of engineering going on, but this type of engineering that you can arrange for 5 years death penalty, never heard of it. Also, the other people in the courtroom, they were pretty flabbergasted. What had the judge just stated? And the judge himself also, he had realized what he had done, so he tried to hide behind the papers on his desk and he tried to hide behind the desk, but it was too late. He had passed sentence upon himself. So you can understand logic, very important when you act highly illogically, then, well, that has certain repercussions. Also, when you are a judge, you're appointed for life and you are so called completely independent. Yeah. So, what is very interesting is that we apply logic and we consider it very, very important. Also, when people deviate from logic in formal positions, important positions. But what is also the case is that with the help of logic, through logic, you cannot even explain a simple wooden chair, a wooden table, or a plastic bag. It is not possible. So that's a huge contrast. On the one hand, we're very expert at so many things in our advanced societies, our highly industrialized societies. We apply logic like anything, but being able to explain these items just mentioned, you cannot through logic. And many people these days fail to understand that. They don't understand that. And they consider you a huge fool when you have that conclusion. But the fact remains. So there is indeed a huge appreciation for logic, and people also, because of it, have all kinds of extrapolations which are not very logical when you think about it. So that means they have entered the world of false claims. So obviously, it's very good to challenge these false claims. And then to also give the alternative that you state that, well, you can come to understand this world, this universe, with everything within it, no problem, when you practice spiritual life. Yes, that you leave the false ego. False ego makes you be confused, bewildered, basically not understand anything of substance. So you live in all kinds of managerial and political so-called realities, but about the scientific reality, basically you don't understand anything. But having arrived in the human form, you can come to that level and reach the time-space movement continuum. There's a time-space movement continuum. You realize it, you're liberated in the absolute, so you have become God conscious, you have reached the supreme, the absolute truth, you have reached Krishna. This is one of many, many names of God in the Sanskrit language. And then you have reached total perfection of existence. That's not a bad thing, is it? When you think about it logically, yes. Because when you think logically about this world, you can conclude also that the material world is very miserable. It does not bring what you like it to bring. It doesn't do the job. Yes. So you will not ever reach actual knowledge, actual scientific understanding. You will not reach actual freedom. It will not happen. You will get political freedom, perhaps, but political freedom is very relative. Yeah. Or you may have your day off or your holiday and feel free, but that comes to an end, definitely. And of course, you have people, they feel very free when they're working because at home, it's basically a big disaster. But it's all relative, it ends, it comes and goes. So, actual lasting freedom is not there. Also, actual happiness, lasting happiness, it's not there in the material world, doesn't exist. So, when you apply logic perfectly, you enter spiritual life and you reach total freedom of existence, the scientific level, and actual lasting happiness. And well, being in the pursuit of happiness is an activity people daily are very much busy with. Yeah. So it's perfectly logical to enter spiritual life and get clear what in actuality is going on. So thank you very much for listening, and perhaps till next time, you can always read any Bhagavad Gita as it is, because this subject is also being explained in the Bhagavad Gita, and then in the meantime also make some or perhaps a lot spiritual advancement. Hare Krishna.